I remember the moment when I first noticed something strange about him. It was during a talk with her, and he was standing just a few feet away, pretending to listen while his eyes darted around the room. I could see the way he smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. There was something off about him, something that made me uncomfortable. I felt a tug in my gut, like a warning bell ringing inside me. But I didn't say anything. How could I have been so blind? Sarah warned me about Jake, but I didn't listen. I thought our relationship was special. But now, I see the signs. Stay away from Jake. He's not who you think he is, Sarah's voice repeated in my head. My heart sank. I never thought I'd get caught in a web of lies. Jake had stunned me with his smile and sweet words. I was head over heels for him. But Sarah's warning made me uncomfortable. She told me about his ex, Lily, and how he'd hurt her. I wanted to defend him. He's different, I thought. But doubt gnawed at me. What if he was just as bad? I felt lost. I replayed Sarah's words over and over. It was too easy to ignore the signs. I thought love would protect me, but it only made me weak. Every moment with Jake felt like a tug of war between love and doubt. I wanted to trust him, but I couldn't shake the feeling I was walking into a trap. Then it hit me. I had to face him. No more hiding. I couldn't let love blind me anymore. I needed to find the truth behind his beautiful smile, no matter how much it hurt. I owed it to myself and to Lily. I'd to fight for my peace before it was too late. I took a deep breath and marched over to Jake. We need to talk, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. He raised an eyebrow, interest flickering in his eyes. What's up? He asked, his tone smooth. Sarah warned me about you, I answered, feeling my heart race. What really happened with Lily? He stiffened, the charm slipping. That's old news, he said, brushing it off. No, it's not just old news. I want the truth. I demanded, anger boiling inside me. His smile faded, replaced by a defensive look. You're exaggerating. I've changed. He shot back. Changed, or just hiding? I pressed, feeling the tension crackle between us. He took a step closer, his voice low. You don't know what you're talking about. Or maybe I do. I challenged, my heart racing. I could feel the walls closing in. This was it. I'd to know if I was just another victim in his game. Tell me the truth, Jake. Now. Even with all the doubt in my mind, Jake was hard to resist. He had this charm that pulled me in like a magnet. When he looked at me, it felt like I was the only one in the room. His jokes made me laugh, even when I knew I shouldn't. That smile of his. It could brighten the gloomy day. But as I got closer, bells started ringing. Was his charm real, or just a disguise? I remembered Sarah's warning and felt sick to my stomach. Jake seemed too perfect. Each sweet thing he said collided with the ugly stories I heard about him. I was split between liking this charming guy and believing the manipulative person Sarah had described. I don't know if I can trust you, I said one day, my heart pounding. Why not? Jake showed that dazzling smile, but it felt like a trap. Because you're not who you say you are. I shouted, feeling the weight of my fears. His smile faltered for a second. You're exaggerating. I'm just being nice. Nice? The word rang in my mind like a warning bell. I wanted to believe he was good. But every time he smiled, a voice inside screamed for me to run away. Was I falling for a lie? As days passed, I felt more confused. Jake's charm was like candy sweet, but I knew it could rot my teeth. I couldn't ignore the nagging questions that shadowed our moments together. Was this love? Or just a dangerous game? I care about you, he declared, but I wasn't sure if he meant it. Do you really? I challenged, studying his eyes for truth. Jake's charm was like a magnet, pulling me in, but I couldn't shake Sarah's warnings. Be careful, she'd said, her eyes serious. I wanted to believe in Jake, but something inside me felt off. Sarah had always had my back, and I couldn't ignore her feelings. Do you really know him? She asked one day, her voice tense. I shook my head, but I could see the worry etched on her face. Jake had a past, and I was too caught up in my feelings to see the red flags. I wanted to tell Sarah it was just love, but deep down, I knew better. Love shouldn't feel like a game of chance. Every time I thought of Jake, doubts filled my mind. Listen to me, Sarah urged, her tone stern. I felt the weight of her words. I needed to trust her, She was right. I couldn't ignore the truth. I'm here for you, she told me. I nodded, grateful for her support. Let's confront him, Sarah said suddenly, her determination lighting a fire in me. I took a deep breath, knowing it was time to face Jake. With Sarah by my side, I felt stronger. Together, we'd find the truth. As we approached Jake, my heart raced. We need to talk, I said, my voice steady. He looked shocked, but there was something in his eyes. Was it greed? Manipulation? What's this about? Jake smirked, but I could see the stiffness in his jaw. I glanced at Sarah, who nodded, her determination clear. You're hiding something. I shot back. And I'm done pretending everything is fine. The air crackled with tension, and I could feel the deception hanging between us. You're being dramatic, Jake answered, but his tone felt off. I could see the cracks in his charm. Sarah's right, I said, my voice rising. I deserve the truth. The confrontation was electric, and I felt powerful. It was time to break free from this poison love before it crushed me. As I faced the truth, treason hit me like a tidal wave. Jake's lies felt heavy on my chest, making it hard to breathe. I realized trust, something I gave freely, was gone. How could I have been so foolish? The pain cut deep, reminding me of what I thought was real. Every sweet word Jake had said now felt fake. I replayed our time together, hunting for signs I missed. It was shocking how love could twist into something so ugly. Anger and sadness swirled inside me. I'd opened my heart, only to watch it break in front of someone I thought loved me. Betrayal leaves scars that take time to heal. It changes you. I questioned everything. Could I ever trust anyone again? Fear of more hurt loomed over me like a storm. I knew I had to share Jake's secrets, not just for me but for Lily too. She deserved answers like I did. Taking a big breath, I steeled myself. Each step forward felt heavy, but determination bubbled up inside me. I wouldn't let this define who I was. I'd rise from this mess and take back my strength. I refused to be a victim. I was ready to fight back. Jake, I said, my voice steady but angry. It's time for the truth. His eyes widened, and I could see the fear flicker across his face. What do you mean? I know everything. You can't hide anymore. I took a step closer, ready to face the lies. Emotional manipulation is a sneaky and hurtful way some people control others. It can make you question everything about yourself, like your worth and truth. I didn't know how bad it was until I got caught in Jake's lies. At first he seemed sweet, but soon, I felt like I was walking on eggshells. Jake had tricks up his sleeve. He'd say sweet things, then turn around and make me feel small. When I called him out, he'd twist everything around. You're overreacting, he'd say, and I'd start to doubt myself. Was I really being too sensitive? That was his goal. He knew my weak spots. He'd poke at my insecurities just to get a response. It felt like he'd a manual on how to push my buttons, and I didn't even want to play. I thought I loved him, but deep down, I was losing who I was. The fights and misunderstanding made me feel trapped. I thought, is his love real, or just another trick? I was scared to speak up because I didn't want to lose him. But then something clicked. I realized I had to see the signs of his trickery. I felt a burst of confidence, but talking about Jake's past made my stomach twist. I had to face him, but my heart raced with fear. Betrayal whispered in my mind. Trust was gone between us, and I needed the truth. I had to find out why he was so messed up. Sitting across from him in the cafe, I felt heavy with what I had to do. Jake, tell me about Lily, I said, my voice strong even though I was shaking inside. His face changed from chill to something dark. You can't hide from this. You hurt her, didn't you? His eyes turned sharp. That's not true. She was the problem. His angry words hit me hard. I knew he was trying to twist this like he did with Lily. Lily's been through so much because of you. I shot back, feeling fire in my chest. You can't keep messing with people's hearts. I won't let you hurt me like you hurt her. I saw him flinch. For the first time, I felt strong, speaking up for myself and for Lily. Love can feel great, but it can also hide something dark. I learned that the hard way with Jake. At first he seemed great. He made me laugh and felt like a dream come true. But soon I saw the truth. This was poisonous love, and it started to twist my feelings and make me doubt myself. I didn't notice the signs until it was almost too late. Then, I found his secrets. I found out he'd hurt his ex, Lily, just like he was trying to hurt me. When she told me her story, my heart sank. He made me feel so small, she said, tears in her eyes. I thought I needed him to breathe. I could see the pain in her face, and I realized those scars could haunt me too. Despite the love I thought we had, I felt stuck. Jake's sweet words turned into poison. I was losing myself, and fear of being deceived wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. One day, I confronted him. "Why do you treat me like this?" I shouted, feeling brave. He just smiled and said, "You'll never leave me." His words hit me like a punch. I knew then I'd to make a choice, stay and hurt more or fight back. I chose to fight. Love shouldn't feel like this, I stated, standing tall. How do you find the truth when lies are everywhere? That question chased me as I dealt with Jake's trickery. Every time I looked into his eyes, a mix of hope and fear twisted my stomach. I had to dig deep for hidden facts, and I couldn't let my nerves stop me. Uncovering the truth felt like walking through a dark maze, full of surprises. I knew I had to be brave. It all started when I decided to gather clues. I called Lily, Jake's ex, desperate for answers. Her voice was shaky, but she shared her story. "He played with my heart," she said, her pain clear. Each detail she shared felt like a crack in my heart. I realized I wasn't just saving myself. I was fighting for Lily too. As I pieced the story together, anger bubbled up inside me. I'd missed all the signs. The more she told me, the more I saw how deep Jake's lies went. I felt betrayed not just by him, but by my own faith. I had to face him. I wouldn't let his charm trick me again. I was ready to uncover his dark secrets. The truth wasn't just a tool. It was my shield. I stood tall, knowing that facing the truth, no matter how hard, was the only way to take back my power and my life. When I finally faced Jake, my heart raced. "You think I don't know?" I snapped. He smiled, but I could see a flicker of worry in his eyes. "What do you mean?" he asked, faking innocence. "I talked to Lily. I know everything." I shot back. His face went pale. Where could I find the strength to talk to Lily? I stood at the park's edge, my heart racing. This was at the moment I'd both feared and wanted. I needed answers, and I hoped Lily could help. The sun was bright, but a chill ran through me as I spotted her on a bench, looking into space. As I walked closer, I saw the sadness in her eyes. "Hi, Mia," she said quietly, almost like a secret. I sat down next to her, feeling the stress thick like fog. This was our big momentous chance to discover truths that could change everything. "Thanks for meeting me," I said, trying to sound brave. "I need to know what really happened with you and Jake." Her face changed, and I could tell this was hard for her. "He lied to me," she said, her voice shaking. "He made me feel like I was nobody without him. Then I found out he was cheating, and it broke me." Each word hit me like a punch. I felt her hurt and anger, and it matched my own feelings. "I need to take him down," I said with fire in my belly. Lily nodded, her eyes sparking with purpose. Together, we'd face the truth and fight for justice. In that moment, I knew I wasn't alone anymore. Lily took a big breath, her eyes shining with tears. "I thought I was in love," she said, her voice shaking. "Jake seemed great. He made me feel important, but it was all a lie." Her pain was real, and I felt the weight of her grief. "Every day was like walking on eggshells," she continued, anger bubbling up. "One minute, he'd say nice things, and the next, he'd tear me apart. I lost who I was." She paused, her fists clenching. "I thought love could change him, but I was just his puppet." I watched as a spark of determination flickered in her eyes. But I fought back. I realized I deserved better. Her voice grew stronger. I had to see Jake for who he really was. His tricks wouldn't rule me anymore. "Emotional healing is tough," she admitted, wiping her tears. "But I'm getting there. I'm putting my life back together." Each word was like a drumbeat of power. "I won't let him win. I owe it to myself to be happy." Lily's story filled me with anger for what she'd to suffer and admiration for her fight. Recognizing mental abuse is tough, especially when you feel swept away in a whirlwind of love. At first, everything seems great. But then, things start to change. You begin to question your thoughts, your feelings, and even yourself. Watch out for red flags. These can be constant criticism, sneaky manipulation, or gaslighting making you wonder what's real. When I was with Jake, it was a ride. He'd say he loved me, but his deeds spoke louder. I felt like I was always tiptoeing around him, afraid of setting him off. He'd sulk, and somehow, I'd end up feeling like it was my fault. Each time he ignored my feelings or put me down, I felt a piece of me disappear. I couldn't let fear stop me anymore. The truth had to come out. Jake's lies felt heavy on my chest, especially when I found out what he did to Lily. I knew I'd to expose him to take back my power. I wasn't just a victim, I was ready to recover my life. When I chose to confront him, I felt stronger. I wasn't just standing up for myself, I was fighting for Lily too. Jake's lies made us feel stuck, but I knew that revealing his secrets would give us a voice. The truth was my tool, and I was ready to use it. I marched right up to him. Panic flashed in his eyes as I let the words fly. "You think you can keep hurting us? Not anymore." Each word felt like a step towards freedom. I was no longer afraid. I was ready to fight against the pain he caused us. Facing Jake wasn't easy. It took guts to face someone who hurt me. But in that moment, I understood how strong the truth could be. I shone a light on his lies, and it felt like taking back control. This wasn't just about me, it was about breaking his hold over us and recovering our lives. "You can't hide forever, Jake," I yelled, feeling the strength grow inside me. His smile faded, replaced by fear. I could see Ith's grip on us was slipping. I was done with his trickery and greed. Lily stood behind me, her eyes wide with excitement. Together, we were stronger. I stood there, heart pounding, looking at Jake. It hit me hard being vulnerable wasn't weak. It was my biggest skill. I'd found out his lies, and now it was time to face him. I knew showing my feelings could lead to something big. Sure, it scared me to open up, but I'd to be real. Betrayal twisted in my stomach like a knife. Jake had lied, played with my heart. I was done lying. I wanted him to see I wouldn't be pushed around anymore. Finding strength in being open meant feeling everything: fear, anger, sadness. It felt messy, but that's where I found my voice. "I know what you did," I shouted, my voice shaky but strong. "You hurt me, Jake. You can't keep messing with my feelings." His eyes opened in surprise. He wasn't used to someone standing up to him. My vulnerability was turning into courage, and I felt strong. I understood being honest didn't mean I was weak. It meant I was taking back my power. With every tick of the clock, my heart thumped louder. I was ready to face Jake, but the weight of what I'd to do made me feel heavy inside. I knew this was it. No more hiding. I pictured the cafe, the smell of coffee, Jake's charming smile that used to make me feel warm. But now, I knew better. That smile was just a trick, hiding the truth. "I won't let him mess with my head again," I mumbled under my breath, practicing my words. I'd to be clear. No more games. I thought about Lily's story, how she stood up for herself. That gave me strength. I'd to stay focused. No matter how charming Jake was, I wouldn't get lost in his lies. Anger bubbled up in me. How dare he toy with my feelings? I practiced my lines, wanting to catch him off guard. This time, he won't win. I took deep breaths to steady my nerves. This was my moment to take back my power. As I entered the cafe, I spotted Jake sitting at a table, relaxed and ignorant. My heart was beating fast. I walked over, determined. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady. Jake looked up, surprise flashing across his face. "What's wrong?" I squared my shoulders. "You know what you did. You can't keep playing with my heart like this." He tried to smile, but I wasn't going for it. "Come on, it's not what you think. No more lies." I shot back. "I'm done with your games." His expression changed, and I saw the manipulative glint in his eyes. "You're overreacting," he said, trying to distract. "No. I'm finally seeing the truth. I won't let you control me anymore." The tension crackled between us. I could feel the power changing. This was my fight, and I wasn't backing down. As I spoke, I felt lighter, like the weight was lifting. "You think you can just walk away from this? You have no idea who you're messing with." Jake stared at me, understanding dawning. I was no longer the girl he could fool. This argument was about me reclaiming my life, my heart. "Let's see who really has the last word," I stated, ready to expose his lies and take back my future. As soon as I walked into the cafe, I felt a crackle in the air, like the moment right before a storm hits. People whispered and cups clinked, but I wasn't here to enjoy the vibe. I was here to get answers. My eyes darted around until they landed on Jake in the corner, his face blank. I took a deep breath. Every step toward him felt heavy, like I was carrying a bag full of rocks. I was about to face the guy who'd spun a whole web of lies around my heart. "Jake," I said, keeping my voice strong. "We need to talk." He narrowed his eyes, and for a second, I thought he might try to wriggle out of it again. "What's there to talk about?" He shot back, but I could hear the nervousness coming into his voice. I leaned closer, heart beating. "I know about Lily. I know what you did." The words cut through the air. I watched his face turn pale, the anxiety between us growing thick. He tripped over his words, but I wouldn't let him off the hook. "You can't keep lying to me. This ends now." A burst of power rushed through me. I was done being the victim. The cafe sounds faded away, and all I could focus on was him, ready to pull the truth into the light. No more fear. Jake opened his mouth to complain, but I cut him off. "You played me for a fool. You thought I wouldn't find out." His eyes darted around, searching for an escape. "I didn't mean to." "Didn't mean to?" I snapped. "You made your choices. And now, we're done." Panic flashed in Jake's eyes as I laid out his lies. I could see the mask he wore start to crack. He leaned back, trying to look calm, but the truth hit him hard. His confidence was fading fast. "Jake, you really think you can keep lying to me?" I said, ready to reveal his tricks. I could see him thinking, trying to twist things back to his favor. The confidence he'd was now just a thin shell, ready to break. His voice shook a little as he tried to change the topic. "Mia, you don't get it. It's all just a mistake." But I wasn't buying it. I'd too much proof to let him fool me again. Fear and anger swirled in his eyes. "I know what you did to Lily," I shot back, feeling her pain in my heart. "You can't get away with this." Jake's hands tightened, and his mask fell apart. I could feel his panic building, and for the first time, he seemed scared. It was a strong moment. At first, I thought Jake was perfect. He was funny, charming, and made me feel like the center of the world. But soon, things changed. I started noticing weird things. When I shared my thoughts, he twisted my words, making me feel like I was the one at fault. It was confusing. Was this love or just a trick? Every time I tried to talk to him, he'd brush me off. "You're overreacting," he'd say with a smile that felt like a lie. I felt trapped in a web of his lies while he claimed everything was okay. It was like I was sinking. Then I talked to Lily. She understood. "Jake's charm is just an act," she said, her voice serious. "I've been there too." It hit me hard. Jake was dominating, always making me doubt myself. I realized I wasn't alone in this fight. I needed to wake up. If someone makes you feel small or dismisses your feelings, that's a big red flag. You deserve a person who lifts you up, not one who pulls you down. I had to trust myself and stop ignoring the signs. I was ready to break free from this deadly mess. Enough is enough, I finally declared one day. I was done with the games. I wanted real love, not trickery. I thought I could break free from Jake, but I was wrong. His influence was like a tight rope, pulling me back just when I thought I was safe. One minute, I felt strong and ready to leave. And the next, he'd wrap me in sweet words and fake hugs. It felt nice, but I knew it was all a trick to keep me close. "Don't you see how much I care?" he'd say, his eyes shining with false love. I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I felt the prick of doubt. Every time I tried to stand tall, he bent my words like a pretzel, making me second-guess everything I thought I knew. It was a wild ride of emotions, up one moment, down the next. I began to wonder if I was losing my mind. As I learned more about Jake, his past became clearer. He was a master at this game, and I was just a player. I needed to dig deep and find my strength to fight his charms. I could feel the damage he was causing, and it hurt. I wouldn't let him take me down any further. "I can't do this anymore, Jake," I shouted one night, my voice steady. "I need to be me." He laughed, a cold sound that sent chills down my spine. "You need me. You know that." No. I'm done being your puppet, I said, feeling a spark of courage. As I stood in front of the mirror, I felt a fire burning inside me. I had to take back my power and stop letting Jake control my thoughts. His lies twisted my heart, and I was done. It was time to act. I grabbed onto self-empowerment like a lifeline, leading me to a stronger me. I set firm boundaries, knowing I earned respect. I took a deep breath and faced Jake. "You can't keep doing this to me," I shouted. My voice was steady, even though my heart raced. No more would I let his sweet words hide his real colors. Whenever he tried to twist my words or make me feel small, I pushed back. "That's not fair," I stated. Saying no felt good, like getting free from chains. I surrounded myself with friends who'd my back. "You deserve better," they told me, telling me I was worthy of real love and not the kind that hurt. I took time for myself, doing things that made me happy. I understood standing up for myself wasn't just about confronting Jake, it was about loving me. With each brave step, I felt stronger. I learned I could walk away from bad relationships. I refused to be a part in Jake's game. I wasn't just getting by. I was flourishing. "I won't be your puppet anymore," I declared, my words ringing with power. Trust is the base of every connection, but it's super easy to break. When I first met Jake, I thought he was different. We shared laughs and secrets. But then I found out he was hiding things. My heart sank like a stone. Betrayal hit me hard. Each time he grinned, I wondered, is that real or just a trick? Fixing trust isn't a walk in the park. After learning the truth about Jake, I felt lost. I wanted to believe in love, but how could I? He'd lied right to my face. It was like walking a tightrope on slip, and I'd crash. I learned that faith needs honesty and respect. Jake broke that trust, and I felt confused. I'd to face him. My heart raced with anger. "Why did you lie?" I yelled, feeling like a volcano ready to explode. I was done feeling weak. I thought I knew Jake, but I was dead wrong. He was like a magician, pulling tricks right in front of me, hiding his true self behind a beautiful smile. His sweet words felt like candy, but I started to taste something bitter. Jake wasn't just playing with my heart, he was pulling the strings, making me dance to his tune while he hid his real goals. Every time I felt special, he'd turn around and make me feel small. It was like a roller coaster that wouldn't stop. One moment I was soaring high, and the next, I was falling down. I couldn't understand why he'd act this way. Why did someone so attractive choose to hurt others? As I looked closer, I saw a pattern, a carefully woven web of lies that he lived on. "Why are you doing this, Jake?" I finally asked one day, anger bubbling inside me. He just grinned. "Why not? It's fun to see you squirm." His words hit me hard. I felt deceived and angry. Jake wasn't the guy I thought he was. This was a harsh fact, and it stung. I'd to protect myself. I couldn't let him keep playing games with my life. I needed to expose him and his lies, no matter how much it hurt. As I prepared to face him, my heart raced. I took a deep breath and steeled myself. "I know what you're doing, Jake. It's over." He raised an eyebrow, a spark of surprise crossing his face. "Oh, really? You think you can just walk away?" "I have to," I said, my voice strong. "I won't be your puppet anymore." The truth crashed into me like a freight train, leaving a mess everywhere. I'd revealed Jake's lies, and now everything felt broken. I thought I was brave, but facing his tricks was tougher than I ever expected. It felt like my heart was torn out, and I was left to gather the pieces. The deception hurt a lot. I trusted him and believed in his sweet talk. When I told Sarah and Lily what I found, I felt a burst of relief, but it quickly turned into fear. What would Jake do next? He was attractive, sure, but also dangerous. I knew I'd crossed a line, and he wouldn't forget it. As I fought through this storm of emotions, I had to tell myself I was tougher than his lies. Every day was a fight, but I vowed to keep myself safe. I set clear limits, determined not to let anyone mess with my feelings again. But everything got messy afterward. Friends picked sides, gossip flew, and I felt alone. I learned the truth came with a price. My world felt confusing, but I had to stay strong. I needed to stand up, not just for myself, but for anyone else who might fall for his tricks. "I can't believe he did this to you," Sarah exclaimed, her eyes wide. "I know. I thought he cared, I answered, anger bubbling inside me. Lily snorted, he's just a liar. You deserve better. I nodded, steeling myself. I won't let him hurt me again. As I put the pieces of my broken life back together, a fire sparked within me. I realized I could write my own story. The truth about Jake's lies hit me like a punch. I felt angry, hurt, but mostly determined. No more would I let him play with my feelings or decide my future. It was time to take control. Every detail I found made me feel stronger. I wasn't just a victim anymore. I was changing into a fighter. I gathered proof of Jake's lies and reached out to friends who believed in me. I was done being scared and tired of being influenced by someone who didn't care about me. Taking control of my story meant more than just sharing Jake's secrets. I had to recover my worth and stand tall. Every time I challenged him, I felt powerful, pushing back against the darkness he tried to spread. This wasn't just about me. It was for anyone who felt trapped by lies. This trip showed me how important it was to know my truth and share it loudly. I wouldn't let my story end in betrayal. I was ready to write a new story, one where I called the shots. I was moving forward, tougher and more driven than ever. Jake, you think you can keep lying to me? I shouted, my voice steady. He smiled, but I could see the fear in his eyes now. You don't know what you're getting into, he sneered. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing, I replied, my heart racing but my head clear. And I won't let you control me anymore. Deceit hurts. It cuts deep and leaves marks that never really fade. When I found Jake had been lying to me, it felt like the ground shook beneath my feet. It wasn't just the faith that shattered. It was my whole world. My heart raced, a storm of anger and confusion swirling inside. I thought I knew him, but I was wrong, so wrong. Every sweet thing he ever said felt like a sharp knife, twisting terribly as new truths came to light. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for Lily. She deserved to know the truth. I had to face Jake, even though it meant facing his lies, his broken promises, and the dark side of him that was desperate to keep everything hidden. Why did you do this? I shouted, my voice shaking. Jake just smirked, like he enjoyed the chaos he caused. The weight of it all was crushing. I lay awake at night, my mind racing with questions. What if he got angry? What if he turned it all back on me? But I couldn't do this alone. Lily was with me. Together, we'd stand up against Jake's trickery. I won't let him win, I told her, resolve lighting up my eyes. Me neither, she answered, her voice steady. We faced Jake together, ready to challenge the lie. Enough of the lies, I stated, stepping closer to him. He sneered, but I felt a rush of strength. I had to reveal him, for Lily and for myself. Your sweet words mean nothing now, I said, my heart racing. Even though I thought I was ready for Jake's response, nothing could prepare me for the icy anger that hit me when I confronted him. His eyes turned dark, and the charming smile I once liked vanished. The air felt thick and heavy. You don't want to dig into my past, Mia, he warned. But I had to keep going. In that moment, I realized how scary he really was. It wasn't just talk. It was a threat that he could destroy me if I didn't back down. He leaned in close, and I felt a shiver run down my back. You have no idea who you're messing with, he hissed. Those words echoed in my head, telling me of the toxic mess we were in. My heart raced. I was scared, but I wouldn't show it. I had to stand firm. You won't control me like you did with Lily, I shot back. With every word, I saw his grip on himself slip. I wanted to expose him and show everyone the truth. But with each line, the danger grew. Fear squeezed my heart after I faced Jake. I needed help. I couldn't do this alone. I called my friends, hoping they'd come through for me. Sarah was the first to answer. She burst through my door, arms full of snacks and an angry look on her face. You're not alone in this, Mia, she stated, strong and steady. Her love wrapped around me like a warm blanket. As I told them what happened, I saw their faces twist in anger. They listened closely, their eyes wide with shock. Each gasp and murmur made my feelings of rejection burn hotter. You deserve respect, not to be treated like some toy, one of my friends yelled. Their words made me feel stronger. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was also standing up for Lily, who'd been hurt by Jake's lies. In the days that followed, my friends became my team. We planned how to expose Jake. Let's show everyone the truth, we said. Excited and determined. I felt less scared with them by my side. Whenever doubt crept in, they pushed me forward. You're tougher than you think, Mia, another friend said, giving me a firm nod. Their belief in me lifted me up. As I stood in front of the mirror, I saw a new me. No longer that scared girl who let Jake twist my feelings around. A wave of strength rushed through me. I'd seen through his lies, fought back, and now it was time to take charge. I needed to strengthen myself and rebuild my life. First, I drew a line. No more letting people walk all over me. I practiced saying no, and it felt amazing. I picked up a notebook and started writing down my thoughts. Each word was like pulling off a layer of hurt. I told myself, trust isn't just given, it's earned. I'd to trust myself again. I was worthy of real love, not the kind that hurts. Every day was a chance to grow. I joined the gym, met new friends, and dove into hobbies I loved. I wasn't just living, I was thriving. My past didn't define me. My choice to rise above it did. I promised myself to stay strong. Jake's deception wouldn't keep me down. I'd turn my pain into power. This journey was mine, and I was ready for it. I felt hope growing inside me, eager to face whatever came next with my head held high. Hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? A new friend asked, breaking me from my thoughts. Yes, I'd love that, I replied, joy bubbling up. Each moment was a step forward, and I could feel the darkness disappearing. I thought confronting Jake was the hardest part, but the real fight came after healing from the heartbreak he caused. It felt like a truck had run me over. The deception cut deep, and every time I remembered him, it was like a knife twisting in my gut. I knew I'd to find a way to heal and take back my life. First, I gathered my friends around me. I can't believe he did this. I shouted, my anger pouring out. They listened, nodding, letting me vent all my pain. It felt good to talk. I also started writing. Why did I trust him? I scribbled, freeing the hurt swirling in my mind. It was like taking a heavy weight off my shoulders. Next, I turned to self-care. I hit the gym hard, running until my legs ached. Each step made me feel strong, like I was chasing away the darkness. I didn't just run. I painted and read too. I'm more than what he made me believe. I told myself. These things helped me remember who I was before Jake. Then came mindfulness. I learned to focus on the now, not the past. Healing takes time. I told myself, and that was okay. Each day, I felt a little better. I wouldn't let Jake decide my worth any longer. I'm ready to move on, I announced, taking one step at a time, determined to reclaim my life and happiness. I thought I was just dealing with a bad breakup, but it turned out to be way more complex. I got caught in a love triangle, and it hit me like a punch in the gut. Trust? It's fragile like glass. When Jake lied, it broke everything. I felt crushed, doubting everything I'd ever believed about him. His sweet words turned into poison, and I knew I'd to guard my heart. I had to find my strength. I dug deep, faced my pain, and fought my way back. Every tear was a step toward regaining who I was. I found I was tougher than I thought. I stood up not just for myself, but for Lily too. Exposing Jake's lies felt like lifting a big weight off my shoulders. Love shouldn't be a fight. Next time I date, I'll remember that. Honesty and open talks are key. I'll trust my gut, even if my heart wants to ignore the signs. I get it now, my worth isn't tied to anyone else's love. I deserve a relationship that pulls me up, not one that drags me down.